Okay, so this is part 5. This is a brief one. This is on cognition. Second here. This is on cognition, the cognitive aspects of work. When we're looking at the cognitive aspects of work, this is going to be a very general, just a quick overview of work, cognition, related cognition, especially as it relates to attention and memory. My understanding is that you're getting a lot more of this in other courses, or you've had a lot more of this in other courses in terms of assessing somebody's cognition and perception, especially around head injuries and cognitive disorders. And it kind of relates to this as well. We're just kind of applying that to a job, all the cognitive aspects of a job. Somebody may have had some kind of injury or whatever, and they're trying to get back to that job. And again, as a therapist, trying to figure out, is this a good fit for them? Are they going to be capable of doing this job at the level that they need to do to perform it successfully? It may have been a misfit in why they're getting all this stress and injuries, or they may be trying to get back to that job after they've had some kind of cognitive issue. So you have to kind of really do your activity analysis, break that job down, and look at all those parts around attention, cognition, memory, and again, see if they have the skills through your assessment battery to do that, to do the cognitive aspects of that job, as well as the physical aspects. A big part of any job is executive processing, all that stuff that goes on in your frontal lobe. This isn't really great in terms of the level. Some things are pretty basic, some things are quite sophisticated, and all the jobs require a lot mentally in order for you to do that job around issues of decision-making, multitasking, prioritizing, planning, judgment, organizing, sequencing, monitoring is a big one. Insight are also huge. Of these three, the ones that jump out to me are the monitoring, insight, judgment, prioritizing. It really takes sophisticated kind of thinking, a lot of thinking that we kind of take for granted. A great example of this is being an occupational therapist. As an occupational therapist, you're not just at a job where you're working at an assembly line, when you have to do this kind of same kind of thing over and over and over again. It doesn't really take a lot of insight or judgment or planning. You just go to the job and do what you're told to do, so to speak. As an occupational therapist, you have to think on your feet. You have to think on your own. You have to make decisions around, is this client safe to go home or not? What do I do? What are appropriate goals for this client? And then when you make those goals, you have to monitor them. Use your insight, your skills as an OT, your clinical reasoning. These goals are working. We're on the right path. We'll keep going. These goals are not working. I need to change my plan. I need to try something different. Maybe it's not meaningful for the client. Maybe this exercise is not the right exercise or right activity. So a lot of high-level cognitive stuff. So again, for example, you have a client that maybe had a head injury, and they want to come back to being an occupational therapist, or even somebody that wants to change careers and be an occupational therapist. Do they have the right skills cognitively to make it a good match for them? And then breaking it down further into these two aspects of attention and memory. In attention, we'll look at sustained, selective, and alternating attention. And this is a huge part of any job on different levels of attention. And this connects directly to memory as well. Somebody has good attention, they usually have a good functional memory, whereas if they have deficits in attention, memory issues usually kind of correspond as well. So breaking these down individually. Sustained attention, a good example of that is you can sit down and do your homework for a couple hours. You have good sustained attention. Selective attention, maybe amongst a detailed schematic or drawing or architectural layout like we're seeing down here, you can focus on the particular details that are really important. Maybe you can zone out distractions if you're reading in a noisy room or something. Alternating attention, you're kind of going back and forth through different things. I always think of the secretary. A lot of people that are dealing with the public have things they have to do. They're great at alternating attention. So they go from talking to somebody and greeting them, helping them back to their computer, what they're working on the computer, emailing, maybe texting, maybe they get a phone call. So they're kind of shifting back and forth with their attention. And then looking at memory, short-term and long-term memory. Short-term memory, I think you kind of got down. Long-term memory will break down into two different parts here. Explicit memory, conscious thought, recalling last night's dinner, what I did at work yesterday, so I can kind of pick up from where I left off. And then there's implicit memory, or unconscious thought. And I think of physical acts, physical unconscious thoughts, memories that just kind of embedded, you just do without thinking. Riding a bike, some ADLs are just implicit. You can do them, even if you have a degree of dementia, you can still do it because it's just something you've always done, and it's kind of stuck in your long-term implicit memory. All right, so that was just a short